the dispute between Transnet and its workers is back at the Transnet Bargaining Council. This is where the CCMA has been roped in to try and facilitate the talks. What's a sticking point here, Naledi, is the fact that there are no picketing rules that have been designed really to make way for just a picture of how the demonstrations or the strike action is going to take shape. The union saying that this is at the detriment of the employer, really, when you look at the fact that the picketing rules are supposed to give some sort of parameters in terms of where the striking workers can go or what they can do and engage on in terms of their demonstration on the ground. The union saying that they're not backing down. About 54,000 of their members there at Transnet are set to down tools this morning. This being members of SATAWU and UNTU. On Friday already they were talking about just a joint force where they'll be united against the employer, saying that even at the Labour court on Friday, it was clear that they need to be united in terms of just sending a strong message to the employer. Here we're looking at just operations being affected here in Gauteng and other provinces. I must say, Naledi, they already started seeing these demonstrations on Friday already where UNTU members are concerned. So today we're expecting that SATAWU members would also go out in their numbers. But then that can actually not happen, and it cannot in any way be fruitful if those picketing rules are not signed, which is why the employer really and the two unions are back right here at the Transnet Bargaining Council to try, under the CCMA's facilitation, to try and craft those rules in terms of how this demonstration or this strike action is to take shape on the ground. Naledi?
Just talk to me, Katlego, about how this strike in and of itself has impacted the lives of commuters and the operations of Transnet.
You can imagine that most of the unions workers on Friday already saying that theirs is to send a strong message to the employer, taking into consideration really the plight or the disruption to daily activities where commuters are concerned, but them saying that they need to send a strong message to the employer. But something that is of great concern here is the impact to the economy where this is concerned. You can imagine that there's no movement or there's little movement really where Transnet's operations are concerned today. We know very well that there are shipments that are expected to be moving from Gauteng to different provinces and from different provinces to Gauteng alike, in terms of making sure that the economic activity is not disrupted. Transnet being one of the state-owned entities that cut across all of the sectors in terms of the agricultural space, the industrial side, and saying the workers saying on the ground that the impact to the economy is going to be heavy, but then they're looking to the employer to do right by them. You can imagine that they were calling for a 13% wage increment, the employer only offering a 3% to a point where they went down to 12%, and they're saying that the employer still did not budge, instead just going up a notch in terms of 1%. Them saying that the final offer that is coming from the employer at this point in time is that offer of 4%, and they're saying that their members are not accepting this. They're looking at the inflation really that is at about 7.5%, over 7.5%, and they're saying that they're looking at the employer to do right by them in coming forward with really a tangible offer that would be satisfactory to their members on the ground, not accepting anything less than what they are calling for, saying that the employer again has been negotiating in bad faith. You can imagine that the employer moved last week already, Naledi, to enforce that force majeure application and that process that shields the employer from taking responsibility for any losses emanating from this strike action, saying that this is something that is more or less symbolic of really the kind of person that the workers and the unions are dealing with here in terms of the employer, saying that from last week already these picketing rules were clear to say we need to set up picketing rules, and there were correspondences already, messages. The 48-hour notice to strike was given to the employer, but the employer went to the Labour court on Friday where that matter was struck off the roll to say that it's not an urgent matter at this point in time. So the workers and the unions are looking forward to this process right here at the Bargaining Council to just, under the CCMA's facilitation, to just give way and for those picketing rules to be designed so that workers can just demonstrate freely without any hindrances when it comes to the action that is expected on the ground. Here in Gauteng just today, seeing little activity. Even the unions are saying to us that until those picketing rules are designed and structured, that's when we'll have a clear picture of really where the workers are meeting, when are they demonstrating, and all of those things. But saying that they are looking at the CCMA in putting pressure on the employer to ensure that those picketing rules are designed, they are set up, they are clear, so that their members can go out, protected against anything that may follow where the strike action is concerned.